Have you ever wanted to be a freelancer, whether it's a freelance writer, a freelance artist, just a freelance worker in general? Well, today we're going to talk about my adventure into the freelance writing world, some tips that may be helpful if you want to jump in there, and some pros and cons. So stick around. Welcome to The Right Mama. My name is Jennifer Aline. I am a freelance writer, a women's fiction writer, and the mother of twin girls. Today we are talking about not as creative of content, not, book writing and publishing, but more freelance writing, which is the world, the career world that I've been in for the past 3 years. To give you a little bit of background, my educational experience is I have a bachelor's degree in child and family studies with a minor in creative writing. And for about 6 or 7 years before I got pregnant with my girls, I was working in the human services world. I was working as a one-on-one support at a mental health facility. I worked as a family worker at a school, and I also worked as a Medicaid service coordinator. Then I got pregnant, and I decided to join or attempt to join the freelance writing world because my schedule was crazy, and we weren't going to put my girls into daycare because it's very expensive, so I decided to stay home. Long story short, it took a very, very, very long time for me to get to what I've been experiencing these last few months when it comes to my freelance writing career. I started off working for one company when I was pregnant, and they would send me assignments on occasion, not regular, here and there, and that's kind of how it started. From there, I slowly got some more projects intertwined. I started working as a social media manager. And then from there, things just slowly got to an okay place this past, honestly, in 2021. I won't come out and say exactly the companies I work for, even though I'm sure they wouldn't really mind. But I do work for, 1, a coffee company, 2, a PR company, or an anti-PR company. I am contracted through a media company. I have a friend who works as a graphic designer in LA who sometimes sends me some random assignments. And I just started working for a skincare company. Now, when I say that I'm working or getting assignments, these are mostly article writing, blog writing, copywriting, or social media management. So here are some of the pros and cons when it comes to my experience in the freelance writing world. The first pro is, yes, you can create your own schedule. And I understand that in this world of COVID and what's today, April 2021, a lot of us are still working from home. And luckily, I have been able to work from home for the past 3 years. And it is really, really nice to be able to go to a coffee shop and get work done, which is my thing. 3 times a week in the mornings, my girls are either at school, play school, or with their family. So I am able to go to a coffee shop and get my work done, which is super nice. Also, I'm a night owl. So many nights after my girls go to bed, I am working. So it is kind of nice to be able to kind of wrap my work life around my girls' schedule because as a mom, you have no choice but to wrap your life around their schedule. The first con is your own schedule. And I know that that's a little crazy, but it's also really tricky not to have a 9 to 5 set in stone schedule where you stop working at 5 and you don't have to focus on work anymore. I also think motherhood comes into play in that, my life revolves around my children. And sometimes that makes my work schedule a bit chaotic, especially when I do have a lot of assignments and a lot of deadlines coming up. So sometimes it would be nice to wake up at 8 and be done by 4, or wake up at 9 and be done by 5. But that won't work because I have toddlers and I just have to make it work and fit my schedule around theirs, which usually means mornings when they rest or nap and nighttime. It also often means weekends. I'm usually working most weekends. The second pro is flexibility, which kind of goes hand in hand with the first pro, which is making your own schedule. But flexibility means that if I can't work at this certain time, I can work at another time during the day. So I don't have that set in stone 9 to 5 where I have to get all my work done in that span of time. I can kind of decide when and where I want to get certain things done. The other thing that's nice about having a flexible schedule is you can talk to your boss or your supervisor or those that are in charge of this project. And if you need an extension or if you have any questions, they're usually always available through email or whatever. And when you do have a 9-to-5 job, you don't always have that contact. You have to have your work done within a certain time. So having that flexibility is really nice. The second con is consistency. And this has been really, really, really hard for me when it came to freelance writing after I found out I was pregnant. It took 3 years for me to finally have consistent income and consistent assignments coming to me. And it takes a lot of searching, which we'll get to how to find these freelance jobs in a second. But it took a lot for consistency. I was going many months just waiting for paychecks or hoping I would get an email saying, here's a project. And a lot of the time I didn't get any of that. These last few months, I've been very lucky to have a ton of work. It's kind of slowing now. So I'm wondering if it will go back up, which again shows you the inconsistency sometimes with freelance work is as a contractor, which you kind of are when you're freelancing for many companies. You may get 1 to 3 assignments a month, or they may give them to you when they come up. You don't have all the time a weekly assignment or a daily assignment. Many freelancers, it's very inconsistent, and that can be really hard, especially financially. The third pro is multiple jobs. If you want to take on multiple assignments at once, you can when you're freelancing because you're creating your own schedule. You're kind of your own business person. You can make and build your business around what you can take on. And this is really good for those who want to make more money. They can take on more assignments and apply for more jobs if they can fit it into their routine, and they get to make that routine for themselves. So if you can take on working for more than one company or business as a freelance contractor, go for it. Like I said, I'm kind of contracted like with 5 businesses-ish. Honestly, there's probably a couple more that randomly throw me assignments here and there. But if you can take on multiple jobs, that's great. Some jobs, when it's a 9-to-5 or an 8-to-4 or whatever, they make you sign a non-compete and you can't do that kind of a thing. For freelancing, you can, and that's kind of cool. The third con that I have for you for freelancing, I kind of mentioned already, is that you're always working. I feel like I'm always working. Whenever I have free time, I'm checking my email or I'm adding more to the social media calendar for a company. Or, on the weekends, it'll be a Saturday night and I'm like, hey, let me get ahead at this because I know I'll be behind if I don't. It's really hard for me to take time off. That's one thing I'm really finding to be a struggle. And I'm looking kind of into the future, seeing that I do have some times that I want vacations. So I'm going to have to figure out how to build my schedule and make it a solid routine where I can take time off. I don't have to work on the weekends and I don't feel like I'm literally always working. You may now be wondering how the heck I found some of this freelance work. And like I said, it's been honestly 3 years in the making for me to get to a point where I feel comfortable. And as I also said, consistency is a thing. Right now, I have enough work to be content, but it might go back down and I might be struggling, or it might go back up and I might be crazy. But right now I'm at a good place. Who knows what the future holds? There was one website which I used to check on a daily basis, and that was this website right here. It's www.freelancegigs.something or another, but it's right here. Check this one out. It is also linked below. This one shows day-to-day openings that are out there. And there's, let's see, what other copywriting, there's blog writing, journal, there's a whole bunch of different topics, and they show you new jobs that come up for freelance writing every day. I would honestly wake up, check that, and apply if there were any. That's what I did every single day for a long time. The second resource I have is Indeed. Honestly, Indeed is golden. I would just search freelance writing jobs, motherhood writing jobs, women's writing jobs, lifestyle jobs, health and wellness jobs, sexuality jobs, relationship jobs, pregnancy, all the topics and focuses that I write about, I would search it. Also, you can subscribe and get alerts in your email for when new jobs pop up, and usually they'll send them to you every day. And you can tell the crazy Indeed people that you don't want them every day, but it can be really helpful, especially when you're desperate to get those emails at the end of the day, look at them, apply, send it off, and hope for the best. I think I got my first freelance writing job, the one that is very it's inconsistent, but they send me assignments very randomly. That was the first freelance job I got, and it was through Indeed. I just applied. I'm still with them. I still write for them, and they pay pretty darn well. The third one, I have not had as much experience in, but I know that Holly Davis has, and here's her page. But Upwork. Upwork is a website where freelancers are looking for jobs and other businesses are looking for freelancers, and you're able to connect through that website and get some income coming in. I have never done that, but I've heard really good things. Check it out, make a profile, and see what happens. And the fourth one that I'm going to talk about when it comes to resources that have helped me, I would say connections. And I know that everyone hates connections, especially like in the publishing world. If you don't have a connection, sometimes people think they'll never make it. Well, get creative with your connections. If you have a friend or a family member who is in the communications realm, whether they work for a graphic designer or a communications company or a marketing company, or maybe they have their own business going and they need additional support, reach out to them. Send them a professional email or a professional message or something that is professional and say, hi, how have you been? I have been doing this. Do you need any help? Or do you know anybody? Or da-da-da. If you have that relationship with somebody, even if you haven't talked to them for a long time, reach out, connect to them. That's how I got a bunch of my projects over the last few months. I reached out to someone I used to go to high school with and I knew over the years, and she came through with a lot. It was great. Don't be afraid to make those connections, especially when it comes to your job, your freelance life, and your finances. Reach out, make the connections, because you never know who that person may know who knows somebody else who could send great opportunities your way. Try it out, reach out, and don't be scared to do it. That was my little discussion on freelance writing. Again, it takes a while, it takes persistence, it takes patience if you really want to get into the field. My degree, having a minor in creative writing, was not as helpful as I hoped. If I had had a journalism degree or a communications degree, I might have gotten more opportunities quicker. I will say that. And when I was in school, I decided to go the human services route because I thought, I'll be writing books. I don't need to go into that field, right? Wrong. I wish I had decided to go into the writing field, the journalism field. I wish I hadn't changed my degree, but here I am, and I'm going to keep moving forward in the best way I can while still getting my books written. Thank you so much for listening and watching. If you like this kind of stuff, hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up. I post every Friday, usually more things about bookish, writing, publishing life. Thank you very much. Stay creative and I had the same mug last video. I usually try to change it. Stay creative and stay caffeinated, folks.